What's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more Etheria Restart. Now, we're going to be getting into the truth mimetic DokiDoki. Now, I think it's fair to say that this unit excels in almost every aspect of this game. PvP, PvE, she can do it. Now, we actually look at what DokiDoki is bringing to the table. DokiDoki is one of the best buffing supports in the game. When we're actually looking at what skill value she has, starting out with her Pseudocode, DokiDoki deals 260% damage to a single enemy and gains 1 stack of backup on self. Backup is basically going to be a ability where before another ally Animus affected by a debuff takes action, consumes 1 stack to purify all debuffs from the unit and applies 1 stack of data stream or backup stacks up to 6 times and cannot be dispelled. This is something that is actually really insane for a character like her, because already in the skill 1 alone, she's basically able to mitigate debuffs. And this is something that is going to be insanely valuable when you're talking about units or team comps that might be trying to CC, freeze, or even landing other massive, or I would say even tide changing debuffs like defense breaks, etc. Now, when we go to the skill 2, you have full overwrite. So chain storage module overwrites existing data. DokiDoki reduces 1 allied Animus skill cooldown by 1 turn 5 times consecutively, each time targeting other allies with the highest total skill cooldown, and applies 1 stack of data stream to them. What exactly does data stream do? So each stack increases damage dealt by 2.5% and speed by 2.5 points up to 12 stacks. This effect cannot be dispelled. So there's already a lot that's in this skill alone. Not only is she able to reduce the skill cooldown of her allies, but she's able to cycle. So based off of whoever has the highest number on their cooldown, she will alternate this ability to that character up to 5 times consecutively. But then she also has this data stream ability, which is going to be unique to her, which is allowing her to not only have a damage ability that's outside of an attack up, but she also has a speed increase that's directly outside of a speed up buff, which it can stack with a speed up buff as well. So this makes her one of the most potent speed buffers in the game, as well as damage amplifiers in the game. Now, moving on to her last skill, which is going to be the Temporal leap, code restructuring, meme reorganization. DokiDoki manipulates data flux to increase 1 allied Animus's strike prep by 15%, 8 times consecutively, each time targeting other allies with the lowest strike prep, and applies 1 stack of data stream on them and applies 5 stacks of backup to self. The reason why this is so important is because what she's essentially doing, very similarly to the skill 2, is she's going to be basically manipulating and pushing her entire team up little by little or collectively together based off of whoever has the lowest strike prep every single time a specific strike prep boost is given. So this is allowing her to be one of the most potent strike prep pushers in the game, because of the fact that not only will she be able to, say, for example, move like one of your slowest characters that might be like a damage dealer all the way up to being on par with the rest of the team, but even if everyone is having a situation where their speeds are matching, she will keep it constant to where you aren't losing your turn order. So there are some tweaks you will have to kind of consider in order to making sure this ability works properly. But for what it's worth, when you get this ability out of the box, it works extremely well for DokiDoki. As far as modules go, I would definitely say for DokiDoki, speed is king. So Swift Rush at the plus 12 is going to be your best friend, which is going to be giving you a speed value of 35%. Once you get a little bit deeper into the game, maybe into like, you know, still your early game, mid game progression, adding the Strive set is going to be really nice as well. This gives you a defense increase of 10%, and after being attacked, it increases strike prep by 10%. This, of course, is going to just be making her move even further along the turn meter, which is going to allow her to be able to get off more her abilities to be more of a support to her entire party. I would say lastly, when you get into endgame, definitely adding the Swift Raid would be pretty huge, because this is going to be giving you an additional 15% speed, as well as a attack increase of 20%, which she could take advantage of in her skill 1. Now, when we're looking at the values that you want to try to aim for as far as the main percent stats, things like effect res, or for example, HP bonus and HP bonus, she doesn't really need effect accuracy. And I mean, any other stat value really isn't going to be that beneficial. You want to build bulk into her and basically make it to where it's much harder to penalize her with any sort of debuff. I would definitely say in the early game, you can still do things like HP. You can do HP effect res. You could even do HP effect res if you want to. It is entirely up to you on how exactly you want to go about it. And what is best suiting your needs and what you might have accessible to you. Now, as far as skill prioritization for DokiDoki, I would definitely recommend this skill 3 first. What you're going to be getting here is the increasing the effect of the strike prep boost to 15%, which is going to be essential for you to rotate and move your team as quickly as possible so you can rotate into more turns. Then you're going to be getting the increased number of backup stacks gained to 5. And this is important because remember, with the backup, you basically are going to be able to dispel debuffs. And so this is going to enable you to keep off those debuffs so that your allies are able to get their turns no matter what. You're also going to be increasing the number of strike prep boosts to 8 times, which is only going to help further close the gaps and get all of your units to the point of getting their turn first before the opponent. And then the last thing you'll get here is a reduction of the cooldown, which is going to put this to a 4-turn cooldown. The next prioritization would actually be the skill 2. The skill 2 would be increasing the limit of data stream stacks to 10, which is going to be basically making it to where you get more of a damage buff and more of a speed buff. Then on top of that, it will then increase the damage boost and speed boost of data stream to 2.5% points and 2.5 points respectively. You'll also be getting the increased limit of data stream stacks to 12. And then lastly, you'll be increasing the number of skill cooldown reductions to 5 times. For the last one here, it will be the skill 1, which is going to be increasing the damage multiplier to 240%. Then it will be increasing the chances of gaining backup to 100%. You'll also be seeing this multiplier go up to 260. And then lastly, it changes the effect of backup from increasing the number of debuffs purified to purifying all debuffs. So this is something that can be essential for you to be able to always making sure that your units are able to have no debuffs, which means that at that point, they're able to say hit the highest amount of damage because they don't have like an attack break on them, or they're not penalized if the opponent does get to sneak in a turn where there's a defense applied to them. She is going to be ensuring that they are always cleansed, which is really, really insane for a character like her. As far as shell pet recommendations, I would definitely recommend in the early game Unbridled Science, which is going to be after the owner takes action, increases their strike prep by 30%. Another one that I would recommend is going to be the Star, which is going to have the effect where before the owner takes action, reduces the next skill cooldown by 1 turn. Another one that I would actually recommend here is going to be coming from Phoebian, and this is going to be Black Flag, where Black Flag is going to have after the owner takes action, follows up on the main target and deals 120% damage, applying a 2-turn speed up buff on the owner Animus and increasing their strike prep by 20%. One other one that I could recommend here is actually going to be in Whitney, and this is going to be Shanghai Jing, which for every 3 actions accumulated by enemy units increases the owner's strike prep by 20% and can be triggered up to 1 times per turn. This is probably going to be the ultimate one that you want to get your hands on for DokiDoki, is actually going to be the Codex of Magic. The Codex of Magic is before the owner acts, unleashes the owner's Animus full potential, making their next skill cost no cooldown and increasing their speed by an additional 10% for 2 turns. So yes, every single recommendation here is mainly and primarily for the nature of increasing strike prep, speed, or just all in all making this unit get the ability to give or get more turns. Now shifting into some pros and cons for DokiDoki, I think some of the biggest pros for DokiDoki is the fact that she is one of the best turn manipulators or strike prep pushers in the game. I think with that is the other fact that she's bringing her own unique skill, which is not only going to be increasing damage dealt, but it's also increasing base speed. And I think a lot of the times players might underestimate how important or impactful base speed can be when we're talking about increased value. But this means that basically throughout the duration of the fight, the longer the fight is, the faster your opponents are going to be rotating outside of the strike prep push that they're actually getting. On top of that, it's really honestly just an insult to have the fact that she can also then dispel all debuffs. I think that that's something that really honestly mitigates and completely counteracts team comps that are either trying to CC or landing debuffs that will allow for things like cleaving. These are all excellent things that she's bringing to the table. Now, as far as some cons for DokiDoki, I think one of the biggest ones is just simply put that she doesn't really offer much damage herself. Now, granted, yes, she is a support, but I think in certain pieces of content, you will actually come to find even being able to clear things within certain time windows, it's actually better to run just full teams of DPS DPSs versus having a support that might just be helping rotate or push things and doesn't really offer damage themselves. There are plenty of supports that also support, but also then can do damage. And that's just one of the areas that she's lackluster in. But I mean, can you really blame her? She's kind of good at everything else. One of the other cons that is presented with DokiDoki is just simply that if you aren't taking advantage of her buffs right away, you kind of can leave yourself vulnerable to retaliation from the opposing side. As good as her abilities are, they aren't infinite, and they do have cooldown windows that if you don't take advantage of them, it will honestly get you wrecked. That is basically that with DokiDoki. I hope that this video was able to give you a better understanding of how this unit is basically going to be adding more value to your account and how she actually works in the game. Now, it's up to you to figure out different strategies and other ways that you can build and use this character, because there's still so much to be found out in the world of Etheria Restart. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe to the channel, and as well as share these videos with others so that they can also learn and see what type of gems they might have on their account. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.